Hi there, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In this video, I'm putting together my Project Life spread for the week of December 9th through December 15th, 2024, and I'm working with a variety of supplies from my stash, primarily from Studio Calico. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Third to last spread in my 2024 Project Life album. And this week was actually pretty busy. I had some friends over for a craft day on Friday. And then on Saturday, my daughter came over and we baked Christmas cookies. So a lot of these stories ended up in my December daily album already. I'm just trying to figure out like how I want to arrange them on here. I'm just putting them, I don't love that, but I'm just putting them in order just to get a basic idea. And then here I have, I think maybe I'll do the cookies on this side, because even though that was on the weekend, this photo needs to be in one of these 4x6 pockets, and I feel like they need to be kind of spread out a little. So maybe that can be my cookie story. This is just having cookies for breakfast. This is Christmas prep, I guess. I have multiple cute cat photos. I think I printed quite a few photos this week, so probably a little too many, but we'll see. We'll see how I'm gonna arrange it. So for this week, I have this card from Cocoa Daisy that I'm probably going to want to use for my title card. I also put this one in here because it has the dates on it, but I'm not sure I'm going to use it because this isn't New Year's and I don't love it. Also, the back, I actually really like this, and that is usable, so I will probably save it in my stash and use the back. That's something I really like about the Cocoa Daisy cards, is that they are double-sided. Sometimes that can be frustrating if your favorite card if you love both sides, but this way I have more options. So for this week, I'm working with this older kit from Studio Calico. I'm just gonna kind of like dump this out. So I have not been a subscriber to Studio Calico's kits for a couple of years now, and they actually ended their kits as of the end of 2024. So they are no longer making these kits. However, I had quite a few of them left over from when I was a subscriber, probably in 22-ish, maybe 23, I can't remember. But their kits, their documenter kits were pretty large, and I had used all of them in Project Life spreads, but I had used it for one spread, and there's just so much in one of these kits that I could get more than one spread out of it. So I had saved a bunch of them as kits that had already been used once, and I've been working through them in my 2024 album, and this is the last one, so it's perfect. So I am going to go through these cards and kind of figure out what I want to put in each pocket. So first I have this 4x6 pocket. So I'm gonna go through these. Like, this year in review card is super cute, but not the story for this week. And this makes a good title card. I do like that one. And I also like this one. I'm wondering if I could like fit this guy, like crop him and put him on here and do some journaling. I think I kind of like that. I also could see doing this one and cropping this guy down and doing some journaling about the tree, or even just leaving it. But I think I like this one, so I'm gonna try that. Put this one up here. I love this photo of my cat. He's just adorable. Okay. Now I'm gonna go through the 3x4 cards. So this is kind of where these kits were huge. So I've already made a Project Life spread using this kit, and look at how many cards are left. So I'm just gonna kind of go through them quickly and figure out which ones I might wanna use for stories or filler. Okay, so I just kind of got a basic idea. Now I'm thinking about stories. So I have up here this photo of my friends. I want to journal about that. So that is going to be on this card here. And then I'm just trying to think of other stories. So I do need to add a story about baking cookies. And then besides that, I don't have a ton of other stories. I can maybe put my other stories on here about the week and kind of frame them around the stuck indoors, because this time of year I don't really go outside. So I have this for my cookie baking. And then this one, I think this card is adorable and I think it will look good next to that one. And then let's see, so I have 3 journal ones. And then I just need some like filler or other stuff. So like a lot of times I will use something like this and maybe add some embellishments, because I don't love doing a ton of filler. So these are both filler. And then I need something over here. Oh, I still have a photo. So I could put this photo here. Maybe put this guy here. Then I need one more thing there. And some of these, like this is just really cute, but I'm not sure if I want more filler. And now I'm doing all these pinks with the blue. I don't know if I want this red one anymore. I might want to just do like, so this one I think I like for journaling. We didn't have snow this week, so I'm kind of avoiding the snow ones because we do get a lot of snow where I live, just not this week. You know, I just don't know that this one fits with the rest of the color scheme that I'm going with. Neither does that one. I like this one. I just don't really need more journaling, but we'll see. Let's see how this works out. I also really like this one. You know, I could use that one. It's a lot of dark though. This is so light up here. Maybe I put this one up here and put this one under that and have my photos like this. I don't normally put all these photos together, but I think it might be working over there. And then, what did I just take off? This one. So I can move this one over here instead of this. Okay, let's see how that looks. So I've got that, and then let's put my cards over, and then we go through the rest of the kit. And this is kind of a mess because I just threw everything back in the pouch. But we got alphas and labels that are green, and I didn't do a ton of greens on here, so I'm not sure I'm gonna go with a lot of that. We have these die cuts, and then we've got chipboard. We've got a chipboard sheet and then chipboard pieces. This is a die cut. Oh, and here's more labels that are stuck on there because they weren't punching. So I'm gonna leave that. Okay, so this has, oh, see, we know this is December 22nd, 22. So that I would have to cover that up. Just gonna kind of go through and see if any of these make sense places. I like the snow, but we didn't have snow. I kind of want to put something on here. Now these things are super cute, but I don't know that they're what I need for this spread. That might work as like a journal spot. Or this one. Just trying to figure out like where I want to balance my stories. So this one I think is going to be cookie baking. And then I think I'm going to need to pull in some more embellishments. This one, I think this chipboard piece might look good right here. There, and then I can journal about baking cookies. This one though, I feel like it needs something. It didn't snow though, but there's also this big tag. Game night, we didn't do that. Okay, so I think maybe I can put like these on some of these photos. Maybe I'm gonna pull some like word phrase strips from my stash. Or do I wanna do the pinks? Because I did a lot of pink in this spread. So I could put a pink one here, pink one here, and a pink one here. So I'm just kind of doing 3 of something, and then maybe I'll pair those with like white word phrase strips from my stash. This I feel like needs something on it, but nothing is really popping from this kit. Same with this one. That's a maybe, but I feel like it still needs something else on it. So I'm gonna probably look in my stash for additional embellishments. This one, I'm still not sure exactly what I'm gonna do with it. So what I'm gonna do now is put you guys on voiceover. I'm going to do my title card by just highlighting the dates, do my journaling, my main journaling, and then kind of figure out where I wanna go from there.
Okay, so I had a lot of fun with this one. I had a pretty good plan going in. So I started with my title card. What I was doing this year with these title cards, which are from Coco Daisy, is just highlighting the week that I am creating a spread for rather than using a date stamp. And it just kind of gives me a little bit of something different. I went over to my December daily stash while I was working on the spread, which I had not yet put away. And I pulled over some of the stamp sets. There were some stamp sets this year in the December daily collection that I really loved, but for whatever reason, I never got around to using them in my album. So I wanted to use them here. This one I really loved. It had like these word sentiments that were a little bit longer. And a lot of them were holiday related, or not longer, but like stretched out. And I just liked the way it looked. So I wanted to document our cookie baking day. And there wasn't one that said anything about Christmas cookies, but there was one that said baking. So I decided to pair the stamp with this alpha set from Kelly Perky's old shop. You can see I have a whole stash of these because I love these letters. I don't know what I'm going to do when I run out, but I do have quite a few left at this point. So I'm just writing cookie baking on here. And because I like the way that this looks, I like this pairing, and I want my spread to be cohesive, I'm going to use this same formula with this stamp set and these letters to write 3 different titles across my spread, and you'll see how that comes together. After putting this on here, I added a couple of the chipboard pieces onto this card, that little pink arrow and that green chipboard piece, which says today was great. And then I'm going to fill this journaling card in about our cookie baking day, which was Saturday of this week. My daughter came over and we baked our Christmas cookies. I didn't get a photo of her, and this is something I really think I need to focus on in the new year. My daughter doesn't live at home anymore, but she does live local. She is a sophomore in college, and I see her usually a couple times a month. But for whatever reason, I haven't been really taking photos when I see her, probably because it's usually more like relaxed activities. We're not kind of dressed up. She's just like hanging out at the house, and I don't really think about it, but I do want to make sure to capture some photos of her because my albums don't really have them as much anymore now that she's not living at home. So that's just something I'm mentally making a note of going forward to try to capture some more photos. I did take some photos while we were baking. I took a top-down photo of the island in the kitchen where we were baking the cookies on the platter when they were done, and my new spatula that I got that is totally unnecessary but super cute just for Christmas cookies. And I am super happy with including this in here. I wanted to kind of mention that this story was also in my December daily for this week, but that's okay. It doesn't really bother me that it's in both places, and I had an opportunity to tell a little bit different of a story or a different angle of the story in here and include some more photos. In my album, I only used 2 of these 3 photos. I did use the same photos, but that is completely okay. I blew up that photo of the cookies on the platter to a full page, and I added text on top of it, so it's totally different in a small pocket. Now I'm moving on to embellishing my photos that I added the hearts on in the beginning of the video. Like I said, I pulled over some white word phrase strips from my stash, and I'm just pairing a white word phrase strip with each of these pink hearts for a repeated embellishment across the spread. I like doing embellishment clusters in 3s. Sometimes I'll do more than that, but I usually don't do less than that unless it's something, that's special. There's just one. But I tend to try to repeat across the spread and have 3 similar embellishments. And I'm saying that, and then I look at my spread and there is actually something I only did twice on the spread, but I will explain when I get there. So now I'm moving on to this journaling card, which was from the Studio Calico kit. It's like this large ticket, and I wanted to treat it the same as the cookie baking by creating a title. So I wanted to journal about my Crafty Friends Day. So I looked at that stamp set to find one that would work. And there's one that says together. So I'm going to use the alpha stickers to write out the word crafting and then write together. So what I'm doing for my alpha stickers, and you might have seen me do this in a previous video, but I just took the backer from the stamps, which is like a piece of plastic that's kind of smooth and shiny, so stickers don't really stick on it too much. And I'm just adding the word on the edge of it. And I'm doing this because then what I can do is kind of hover it over my card before I put it in place. And that way I can make sure that it's kind of centered on that ticket. If you want your text to be centered rather than left or right aligned, this is a good way to do it. You also could, of course, just start with the center letter and build out from there. But this one way tends to work pretty well for me. You can see I'm having a little bit of an issue because they weren't sticking perfectly. But here you go. You can see how I just kind of press it down and then I pull that off. Sometimes you have to fix it a little bit, but usually these stickers are movable, so it works perfectly fine, and it allows me to kind of get it centered how I want it. Next, I'm going to stamp the word together right underneath crafting, and I'll be able to kind of center it. You can see I'm just still messing with those letters, just wanting them to be a little bit more perfect, which it looked fine before. I don't know what I was doing. But I'm just going to stamp this directly underneath it. So it says crafting together. And then I'm going to do some journaling about my craft meet up with my friends. So I have 2 craft friends that are also journalers and scrapbookers that live nearby. And we've been getting together about once a month, but with the holidays and the winter, it's kind of hard. Where we live, it gets really cold and snowy, so it's not always great to go outside or drive. And with the holidays, we had a lot going on. So this month we decided the one that lives closer to me came over to my house, and the other one we FaceTimed, and we all just kind of crafted together and chatted for most of the day. It was super fun. This story is also told in my December daily album again, but I really don't mind doing it twice because it is part of my year, so I want it in this album as well. And a lot of the other stories on this spread are not included in my December daily. So just the cookie baking and the friend craft day, which are kind of bigger events, but the other ones are not. Now I'm working on adding embellishments to these filler cards. So this is where I have 2 cards that kind of end up similar, because what I'm going to do for that bottom left card and the top right card, which is the black one, is add some chipboard pieces on it. So if you missed it, I recently shared a video where I redid my chipboard organization system. And in that video, you can see a lot more about how I have my chipboard organized and how it's helping me actually use that chipboard. So I will link that one in the description box below if you'd like to check it out after this video. But basically, I pulled out my tray here that is for winter themed chipboard. And I found a few different ones that I wanted to add onto this spread. I stacked those 3 tags on that black one, and I put the larger tag on the pink one in the bottom left, and I called that good. On this card here, I decided to take that snowflake off because, like I said, it didn't snow this week. And I went through my other embellishments and I found some houses. And I liked that sentiment for this spread because this week it was super cold and I just spent a lot of time indoors. You can see all of my photos on this spread were taken in my house. And so I really just didn't go anywhere besides work when I had to. And I work from home 50% of the time. So it really was mostly spent in my house. So I'm deciding that I wanted to kind of tell that story on this card with this house embellishment, which is really old from Ali Edwards. I believe it's from like one of the first few story kits. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was like home. I think there was one that was home, but it was definitely from years ago. So I'm happy to be using it and putting it into my album. I pulled over a sticky note because I wanted to write down the additional stories that I wanted to tell in this spread. I have that 4x6 card that says stuck indoors with pumpkin on it, and that's going to be where I put my bullet point list of stories. If you haven't watched my videos before, something I do in every single one of my spreads, pretty much in my Project Life album, is include a bullet point list of little stories from the week that don't need their own card, that probably don't even have a photo for them, and I just want to make note of. So it'll just be very little details like what I've been doing lately, what are we watching, what am I working on, those types of things. So I wanted to add some of those stories on that stuck indoors card with pumpkin, but I knew I also wanted a story for this card. So by writing those out, I kind of pulled together that theme of staying home and just kind of spending more time at home. And then I was able to add a few of these different stories into this card. So I stamped the word season because, again, I wanted to follow that same formula of a title with these alpha stickers and a stamp from that set. And so I ended up doing cozy season, which I thought worked really well for the story and the sentiments of this week. So it actually rained a lot this week rather than snowed, which is kind of odd for where I live in December, but it was just a little too warm for snow, but still that was just not the kind of weather. Nobody wants to be outside in 40 degrees and raining. So I wanted to journal about that on here as well. For this card here, this is a 4x6 journaling card, but I don't have enough to fill a full 4x6 journaling card. So I just added this 3x4 photo of pumpkin. I adhered it slightly lower on the card so I could cut some of it off. And then I'm going to add one of the chipboard hearts from the kit. This is the Studio Calico kit that I'm using. And I just adhered that on there. I'm looking through the kit and finding that they have all these little arrows, and I thought that these would be cute to make my bullet point list. So I'm going to adhere them on here and then just do my journaling about each of these stories, the little stories I wanted to tell this week. So what I added on here was that I did a lot of cross stitching. This is a hobby that I have enjoyed for years. I've been working on the same cross stitch pattern for like 5 years now, which is totally fine. It's like a complete full coverage, huge art thing. It's going to be insane when it's done, but it's taking me so long because I go through phases, and I think I tend to do it more in the winter, but I was working on it a lot during this week, so I wanted to add that on there. We were watching Squid Game, and we watched a movie called Carry On. I was working on December Daily and some other craft stuff, so I wanted to document that. We planned our third vacation for 2025. If you follow me over on Instagram, I share a lot while I'm traveling, and I will also share vlogs here. So the third vacation we're going on in 2025 is to Spain and Morocco. So stay tuned for more about that one. And then about just there being a lot of rain this week. On that cozy season card, I'm going to add a few more bits of the story that relate to spending extra time inside in my craft room. I documented just kind of like a little bit of a list of what I was doing this week in there. So I've been watching some silly holiday movies, was wrapping gifts. We had a lot of simple dinners and just more relaxation and just kind of taking it easy, because with the holidays, it's just always so busy. And this is also a very busy season for me at work. My work gets very busy starting in December and running through February or March, depending on what projects I'm actually assigned in my office and what we're doing this year. But sometimes it's like very, very intense, starting in December sometimes through April. So I wanted to just be a little bit cognizant of that and taking it easy and spending some extra time relaxing at home. So that's just kind of what I'm journaling about on this one here. I add that house embellishment on. I tack it down with a tiny attacher staple, and that is pretty much going to wrap up my spread. You can see I have a few photos this week, basically like all the photos across the center and the one of the baking that don't have any embellishments on them. I usually put embellishments on most of my photos, but I tend to leave a few unembellished. This one I'm leaving 5 photos unembellished, which is pretty high for me, but I felt like that worked because I had a lot of different things going on in this spread. I have the 2 cards with the chipboard pieces. I have some filler cards. I have the journaling with the stickers. I have the hearts and stickers. I have that house. So there was a lot going on. So I wanted to leave some kind of empty space with my photos. Also, all of my photos, except for the one with my friends, are very dark. So that also kind of lends itself to wanting to add just a little less clutter on the spread to keep it more balanced. Here's a look at that completed spread. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. And as always, I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye.